Ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call for the record. Mayor Lindsay.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Powell.
Here.
Counselor Crane. Is not here. Counselor Weeks.
Here.
And Counselor Humber.
Here.
We have a quorum. You may proceed.
Ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please get a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to requests and responses in the audience. Did anybody have anything they'd like to present this evening? Okay. If that's the case, we'll move on to our staff reports. First up is our tourism director, Greg Ralph.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Ware. This is a report on July activities and numbers from the tourism department. First up, Advanced Air. During the month of July, they ran at 44% occupancy, sending 45 people out, bringing 50 back. So a total of 95 enplanements on Advanced Air. The best news that I have to report is the short-term rentals Granicus program is moving along. The tourism department assumed responsibility from the finance department on that last week. Caroline has been going through, taking all the receipts from submitted reports since January. They're all listed on a spreadsheet now. She's cross-referencing all of them on business permits, lodgers tax permits. Then we can go into Granicus and find the non-compliant lodging properties. I will tell you right now that Granicus is showing that we have 936 lodging properties for rent in the valley, and we have 419 permits issued. So we're not even halfway there, which is kind of shocking. But we're on it. We'll get on it. Those audit letters will be going out by early next week, collecting some of these funds. A little background on some Mountain Town visitation numbers. As I'm trying to get some numbers on what we've been able to move in June and July. I'm a little early on looking for these things. But from other communities and other reports that Owen and I look at on lodging properties, most of this is coming out of a report that's put out by Entopia. They represent about 20 different mountain towns in 7 different states. Colorado Front Range destinations, Breckenridge, Keystone, Vail, all of those type of destinations. Their lodging is down 16% this summer. They're down only 2% in spending. So they feel that day trippers coming out of the Front Range were offsetting some of those drops in lodging and increasing rates. It covered some of the difference on that. So that's from there. Breckenridge in total is down about 15%, the town of Breckenridge in visitation and revenue. And the booking pace at those 17 mountain towns and seven western states has declined every month over the last 6 months compared to the previous year. So there's one of the assumptions is it's the post-COVID hangover's gone or halo, where people were looking for those drive close-in destination vacations. Cruise ships are now full, as some people can attest from firsthand experience. And airplane travel's way up. So we're having a fight to get our share. But the good news is we have a lot of drive destination people coming out of Texas, and that market continues to grow. So we're going to keep going hard in those areas. Our July event performance, these are just numbers for July. July 4th, the drone show, the day before the drone show, 1,134 people, drone show 1,500. Blues Fest over those 2 days were about 2,300 people. Friday, the 18th, just a regular cool summer nights, 564. Friday, the 25th, 759. Escape Fest over the 2 days, about 1,200 people. So overall, we had about 5,500 people going to our events in July. On social media posts, Facebook and Instagram and so forth, 18,000 people showed interest in going to those events. So I'll have to use that formula when we look at forecasting what we're expecting for events compared to what we're seeing in interest on social media. Our advertising performance in the month of July, our total for this year so far has been 15,662 booking referrals to our website. Strong for a new site, doing pretty well. Dallas, Albuquerque, and Houston were our top performers this summer. Albuquerque tends to come up in the summer, drops off a little in winter. We are now at 39,000 Facebook followers, which is great news because now we can put out targeted messages to those people for a lot less money than buying just generic advertising. And we have 4,500 Instagram followers as well. We're building our database, so we'll start email campaigns. We start an email campaign next week for the Village Voice and for tourism related events and other offers. Any questions for me this evening?
Thank you, Director Rouse.
Thank you very much.
Up next is our Airport Director, Jeff Gilmore.
Here's the mayor and council. Just Strickland and Manager Weir, excuse me. Wow, gotta get going. I'm gonna start this evening. And I may employ Kurt Tilt back there, but he's gonna smile at me and go, what? Back when we had the incident or the unfortunate incident about a month ago, an extraordinary thing happened in my eyes in this town. And one of Kurt's guys, Nathan Gopian, and he could probably tell the story better, but I'll give you the short version. Nathan went out as soon as he heard that evening, and went into the wilderness on his own. He camped out overnight. He did his own search and rescue mission. How many hours did he spend? A day or so out there did he do? 3 days, on his own, without any direction from anybody, just to go see this. Again, Nathan Gopian. So I just wanted to applaud, so that everybody could know in the community that's watching this, what extraordinary effort that was. I also want to applaud all those others who jumped in there and got involved with that. And one of our local pilots out of Taos was able to locate that crash. So it was literally a community effort to help pull that together so the body could be recovered and the investigation ensue. But in particular, Nathan Gopian just really deserve a huge round of thanks and applause for his efforts. So I wanted to start with that. And not kind of falls in line in my report, but not something that was because of that. A week ago, we had a crash response training with 6 local law enforcement and fire departments, including ours. So basically all of the fire departments, police and the county sheriff. We had 22 participants at the airport. Well, the FAA came up, himself and myself taught that class. And so we had about a 3-hour session where we went over aircraft crash response. So that's the first time I think we've done that up here. We intend to do that every 2 years. The after effect is of getting a lot of really positive from the various departments, and their guys are still talking about some of the items that we bullet pointed during that training for their own protection and also the recovery of folks. So again, terrific that the community jumped in on that. So if you weren't aware of that, that happen. We plan to do that every 2 years from now on out. It's just gonna be a matter of personnel changeover, they're able to come in and get that training. One, again, calling out a couple, they're part-timers, they fly up here. Patricia and John Burris loaned us their Cirrus aircraft for that training. So we were able to pull the airplane into the hangar and all the responders were able to get around the aircraft and actually see that, believe it or not, we have aircraft out there with small rockets in the fuselage, their emergency parachute recovery system. So firefighters and police go, oh, that's that. Oh, that, I don't want to bump that or pull that. And again, it was Patricia and John Burris that loaned us the use of their airplane that afternoon. So I just trying to give props where they're well deserved. Part of that also, in the past, when I first came here 5 years ago, there was talk about doing an emergency response plan for the airport. It's not required. When we elevate this airport up in its certification, it will be a required document. But I'm in the process of writing that right now. And Chief Vance is already on board. Chief Hogriff is gonna find out. He's been voluntold, jump in on that too. Sorry, sir. But in the next couple of months, we'll have that. There's no deadline on getting it done, but we'll also have that in that will be presented to you all as a document. I imagine it will become part of the record of the village. Also, the FAA required documents for our sponsorship change. The new engineering firm actually showed those this morning in our meeting with in the airport advisory committee meeting. So they're already in the hands of the county and hopefully they'll be passed on to the FAA. They'll go through them, look at them, and then they'll put them into their own database as they cycle through this. So I think that's finally done and dusted. Cross your fingers. We have some other things in the background that we're gonna do to push that along if necessary. To get our priority a little higher with the FAA, to move things along. So we should see that pretty quick. Another piece of information, we were told this past week that Senator Lujan, over the last 2 years, Cy Trujillo, Commissioner Trujillo, has been working about 2.5 years now with Senator Lujan's office to get a new snowplow for the airport. This will be the first time that the airport will get its own brand new snowplow. We had $447,000 that was allocated for that. It passed through budget and we're just waiting on the president to sign that. Manager Weir explained it could be line itemed out, but it's kind of, it's such a small thing in a giant budget that more than likely it'll pass. So for those listening in the community, that doesn't mean we'll have a new snowplow this year. But it does mean in the future, once the procurement process goes through, the truck gets built, we're really hopeful we'll have a new snowplow truck. So we thank Cy Trujillo and Senator Lujan for that. Should I say something about our meeting with the senator last week? Sure. Okay. So Manager Weir, myself, and Adrian met with Senator Lujan and some of his staff a week ago today. They were very excited about this airport. One of the staff members in particular, who's a retired Air Force C-130 navigator, was ready to come up and visit pretty quick. So we're trying to coordinate a time where Senator Lujan will come up and staff members do a tour of the airport, the village, and have some discussion about future grant funding and those type of things too. So a little bit of push on that. And then finally, it was brought up this morning just about numbers, and I realized that this is an IOU. If we go back to 23 and 24, I'm just going to give you overall numbers. So in 23, our operations recorded 447 operations in and out of the airport for the entire year. In 2024, it was 421 operations for the entire year. As of July, just closing out, moving into this month, we're at 305 for the year. So we are going into a slower season, but we expect to exceed the overall numbers for the last 2 years, and we've already exceeded the turbine numbers. So, I mean, we have 145 turbine operations already. That's our charters. That's not just private jets, but a lot of net jets and those kind of people be in. Where last year there was 145 for the whole year. So you can see that we're in big trouble. So, I've taken enough of your time. Is there any questions?
Mr. Mayor, Council, Jeff, can you update them on the county grant for the new bay door and the fuel station and all that?
Okay, yes, sir. I certainly can. As of this morning, the engineering firm that is doing that, so they were still responsible to move that grant forward and get the building done. We are in kind of a pause with a potential change in the contractor. So it'll be next week before the county can go back and vote to pick up maybe number 2 person and then move that forward. So we're still in limbo. The engineer still thinks that all of the work will be done. I believe you are aware that the new hangar has been set aside. But the door replacement, the fuel containment and the fuel farm covering is part of that grant money. And that's what's cycled in to be able to be completed by May 28th of next year. That Molson Corbin is our engineer on that project for the county. And he was having discussions yesterday with state aviation and the one looking for additional funding, but also talking about how if we hit that deadline, it can be extended again a little bit farther. So we're kind of sitting on the edge of when this thing gets stopped, or do we move forward so that there's not a liability on the village to pay outside of the grant that's there. So that's the update. So as soon as it's kind of happening on a weekly basis, so in the next meeting, hopefully I'll have more with some dates. We were informed this morning of the airport lighting project. This is new runway edge lighting and signs is now kind of also in limbo too. So that's based on the contractor not being able to get the product to put it in the ground for it snows. So any questions on it? Okay, thank you all.
Thank you very much. Next, our Public Works Director, Kurt Hepler.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Rick Strickland, Manager Weir. Quick update on projects with Public Works departments. Water Department, starting yesterday, started to expose the water tie-in point for workforce housing. Due to a lot of utilities clustered there, they're doing the entire excavation with hydrovac trailers. It's going well. We're hoping by end of day tomorrow, we'll be in a position to start continuing on with pipe. The Tank 7 fencing, they've all locates in, they're scheduled to start that work on the 18th, Monday, the 18th. And Water Department is continuing to install water meters as well. They'll be doing a couple more on Thursday, keeping the list knocked down really well. Any questions in regards to Water Department? Streets, over the last week and a half, Streets Department, a couple of members worked on the rough end of the road for workforce housing to get it to subgrade elevation. So we can start installing the utilities, have it pretty much there. They've also been constructing the pads for the scales, hoping to get the Southwest scales out prior to the end of the month to do the concrete work for the scales. After the concrete work is done, then there will be some installation time, but we're also gonna have a period of time training our employees and everything. So I'll say right now, I believe we're still a couple months out from having scales to the point where they'll be functioning and we'll start implementing the use of them. And streets has been continuing with regular maintenance throughout the village on roads. I did want to mention the maintenance department, in the last couple of weeks have, the median on Bill Burgess Boulevard that the Garden Club takes care of. Maintenance department essentially had to rebuild the whole watering system there. We had got the water working last spring of 2024, but it was, nothing was really done with the median last year, where this year the Garden Club has done a lot of plantings, and maintenance department got the water set up on timers to ensure the watering happens every day. And would like to point out also throughout the community, the maintenance department has been mowing a lot of areas that have not been mowed in the past. We're gonna continue to do that, to get some of the sagebrush knocked down. And they've just been doing a good job, and I wanted to call them out. One of the tasks they're gonna be doing this week in certain areas, with all the moisture that we've had, which has been a blessing. We've had a lot of things really grow up good, and one example of an area that they need to cut back for visibility for safety at an intersection is the intersection of San Mateo Drive and Country Club Drive. I myself noticed this coming out of San Mateo. A small car hides behind those willows pretty good, so we're gonna get those cut back, and just wanted to tip my hat to maintenance. They've been doing a lot of stuff lately, and yeah. Any questions on streets or maintenance?
I was mentioned, I do enjoy seeing the hanging baskets on North Angel Fire Road, and
Yeah,
I know there's people in town that are glad to see the winter festivity signs come down.
yeah, we got some Christmas decorations taken down last week as well. We did get all three members of the maintenance department certified in the man lift. Prior to that, we had good old Jesus in the streets department was the only guy certified, and Jesus changes tires for everybody, does a lot, and plus he's out there working on roads too, so. We got a total of 7 people certified for the man lift a couple weeks ago. And yeah, the plants, a little bit goes a long way, and you look better. Last thing I want to mention is I just wanted to compliment the slash department. You know, beyond just the, you know, me being on the job since January of 2024, for a couple of decades, I hauled slash into that pit. And I just want to compliment them, because it's a pretty steady stream of slash coming in, and yet there's no backlog. They're staying on top of it. I think, you know, as we get more and more people delivering slash, it sure seems like Chief Vance and his team are ready to attack it. And if there's no further questions, I'll end with that.
Thank you, Brent Drippler. Up next, our Fire Chief Jason Vance.
Hope that's not me. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Howell, members of council, Manager Weir, Clerk Strickland. I just wanted to give a nod to this council for having me here as fire chief. I'm celebrating my 1-year anniversary, so thank you for having me. I'm still really humbled to be a public servant and a proud member of this community. So again, I just wanted to extend my thank you for keeping me on as fire chief. We had I did want to also mention, Mr. Epler, thank you very much for the compliments. I'll pass that on to the slash team. We have a couple of teams out on deployment right now, so it's a testament to their will that they're handling all the slash in spite of having everybody out. They're very limited with personnel right now, and they're keeping on top of it, and I have to concur, they're doing a great job. We did have a busy July. We had 52 EMS calls, 14 fire calls, 4 of the EMS calls and 6 of the, 4 of those calls were at Moreno Valley, and 6 of those were in Eagle Nest. Our wildland crew has a type 6, the Skeeter out on the Middle Mesa fire near Navajo Lake. They've been helping out, and it's been progressing into Pagosa. I think a lot of the smoke remnants that we're getting here in the villages from that fire. Captain Romo, is been reassigned from, southern New Mexico to, central Arizona on the Goodwin fire. Both of those, should be back by the end of next week. They're both on 14-day deployments. Lindsay Reed has been super busy. I'm pleased to, announce that she completed, 5 so far in August, 5 defensible space ordnance assessments. And, she has 8 more scheduled for the rest of the month. And her total now is 81. She's completed 81 assessments. So pretty proud of that, endeavor that we're on. Next week, we'll be finishing all of our hydrant testing for the village. The group that's doing it, Waterways, has reported that they have found several new hydrants, maybe upwards of 20 or more hydrants, that were not previously identified on lists. And, just to make you aware that we will be current with our 5-year testing schedule as of, after next week. And that'll be the first time that I know of that will be, completely brought up to date. Super important if we do have an ISO inspection in the near future, which we are due for every 5 years. It's important that we have all that hydrant testing. I did also want to mention, thank you for the training that, we had, the FAA ALMOT training, the aircraft rescue training. Just wanted to add in that, Mr. Joe Cluck from the FAA came out and did that training. And we had participants from Moreno Valley, Sierra Bonita Rincon, Eagle Nest, Angel Fire Police Department and Fire Department, and Colfax County Sheriffs, and total, 22 total first responders in that class. Great benefit to the village. This morning we submitted, successfully a fire protection grant for 600,000. That was submitted, large in part because of Rocky. Thank you for your help on that grant, and every grant that we submit. We propose this grant to purchase a metal building kit designed in collaboration with our architects for the new fire station. So, hopefully if we are awarded that, we'll find out by January. And, that'll help purchase that metal building kit for the new fire station 1. Speaking of Fire Station 1, we will have a full working set of plans by the first week of September, so I'll be before you here at council asking to approve those plans for Fire Station 1. I also just wanted to take the opportunity to discuss our staffing. I don't think we talk our numbers in the fire department enough, so just wanted to give you some numbers as far as how many people we have in the fire department for different things. Keep in mind that some of these people are firefighters, some of these people are EMTs at different licensure levels, so these two mixes are not exclusive lists. But we do have a total of 15 firefighters on staff. We have 9 paramedics, 4 EMT intermediates, and 6 EMT basics, so a total of 17 EMS licensed staff, either part-time or full-time. And 14 of those firefighters are paid, 1 of them is volunteer. We have 7 chaplains, 4 total volunteers, 12 part-time personnel or PRN personnel, and 8 full-time. And then with Wildland, we have a total of 9 personnel as well. So any questions? Good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next, our police chief, Hildreth.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Manager, Clerk. Before you should have the July monthly recap comparing July to June, a significant uptick in calls for service totaling 316 for July versus 176 in June. The incident or call for service reports went up from 70 to 112. Warrants generated were 3 versus 2 in June. There were 7 arrests versus 1 in June. There were 4 crash reports, which remained the same as what June was. 63 traffic citations for July, up from 40 in June, and matching what happened or what was the performance was in May. Non-traffic citations, there were 4 versus 5 in June. And I just want to go into under other and mention that the July events, the attendance, at least in my opinion and observation, certainly looked up from a year ago when I just started as your police chief and had only been here a couple of months or so. Well done, Greg.
The whole village.
Yes, there you go. This has already been mentioned by the two previous reports, but, I was pretty proud, Jeff and I had been working on this since last fall, trying to get the FAA aviation safety training here. We ran into numerous delays with, federal travel and so forth, but we finally got it pulled off. We had 4 of us that attended that. Officer Sanchez attended crime scene investigations. That is a basic class. He was here in New Mexico. And then Officer May and Sanchez both assisted Moore County Sheriff's Office with their annual fiesta, kind of a payback from the barter. They came up and helped us with balloons. I sent officers down to assist them with fiestas. So it's a good trade-off and partnership to have established with Moore County. So with that, I'd stand for any questions, comments. I will see you back at the podium shortly.
Thank you. Okay, finally this evening in staff reports, we have our finance director, Adrian Mendoza.
Evening, Mayor, Council, Manager Ware, quite quickly. If I can call your attention to the green chart that you've got there in front of you, we just wanted to give you a sample of some of the visuals that we're working on as a part of that budget analysis for the village. I'm going to start off with the one that's got the 2 bars in front of you. So what you're looking at here is the green bars represent the revenues. So the bottom of it, the dark green, that's the cash in hand. The light green on top of it is where we expect to be at the end of the year. The red bars that you see there, the one at the bottom that's solid, that's the expenses that we've already done for the year. And the bar that's got the dots there at the top, that's where we think we're going to be by the end of the year on expenses. So with that being said, the solid red line at the bottom should never be any higher than the dark green bar. And same thing at the top, the dotted red line should not be higher than the light green at the top. As long as we're seeing that, then we're healthy if we can get to the end of the year. So what you're looking at in front of you is FMO1, which is fiscal month 1, which would be July, and fiscal month 2, which is August. So the second column represents us right now where we're at as of the middle of this month. And by the end of the year, that's what that other page represents. It's kind of to give you a little bit of a visual of what it will look like by the end of the year. Obviously, these aren't the numbers because we haven't gone through those future months yet. And so all you're seeing is just basically August is repeating itself. So, but, so this particular chart that you're looking at, this is the general fund. And so what I'm going to be doing is preparing one of these for each of the funds. And I'm going to be submitting those to you so that you can review them and get an idea about what the health of each of those funds are. Whenever I come before you, I won't be addressing each one because I'm tracking 22 different fund codes. And so if I was to put 3 minutes to each one of those, I'd be standing here for an hour. So, but because you have the read aheads, if you do have any questions, I'll be able to address those. But other than that, our plan is we're probably going to cover general fund with you, lodger's tax, the ones that we think you're probably going to want relatively frequent updates on. So in addition to this, we've also got a lot of other behind the scenes stuff that you're not going to be seeing, but what it's allowing us to do is to go in and as the village is spending, we're examining that so that we can start to frame out future years budgets for 27, 28 and beyond based on what we're seeing. And so budget is now going down to a higher fidelity to where by fiscal month and by rec name. And by rec name, what I mean is rather than having tranches of money, which is typically what we do, we work with the department heads and we've got X amount of dollars that we can afford to give them across each of these funds. And that's what they look at all year long and they spend against that. Well, there's a little bit of risk involved there because it's just basically a little pile of money and you're taking off the top as you need it. And so, and it's easy to forget what we planned on buying when we set that number up at the beginning of the year versus at the end of the year. Because by the end of the year, the plan's gone out the window. You know, this budget gets approved and then the year starts and it completely changes. And so when you track items by a requirement name, then we're able to tell exactly what they were planning on buying. And as the year progresses, we can check those items off. And if new purchases come up that weren't a part of the initial budget, we can make sure that we examine that and figure out where those trade-offs are gonna come from, so that we don't get into a position to where we overspend a fund, we get to the end of the year and all of a sudden now there's a must-pay bill and there's no money set aside for it. So again, that's not really stuff that I'm gonna be putting in front of you because it involves a very deep dive down into each of the funds, object classes and all that, and time just really doesn't allow for it, and I know it's really not that interesting. And so what I'm gonna do is just come talk to you about the health of the funds themselves. I'm gonna give you this high-level view of what each one of the fund codes look like. And then we can address any questions or concerns that you may have.
Thank you, no, sure. Oh, man, you were.
Mr. Mayor, Council. The one thing I will say is the eventual plan is to present this via the web. And which will not only make it available on demand from the council, but on demand from the public.
Thanks again. Okay, are there any committee reports this evening? If not, we'll move on to old business. I'd like to open item A for discussion to approve resolution 2025-12 of airport fee schedule. Mr. Gilmer.
Mayor. Council, we're coming back to you, from our last meeting with a revision. Based on, some comments and then, our reevaluation. You have before you, I think, a unhighlighted copy. But I'll explain the revisions on here, which are based on the request. The first one, next to where it says rent fees and so on and so forth. I put in a fee waiver minimum purchase. And then there is a section down below that talks about like how many gallons of fuel equals how many nights that they have a fee waiver for their nighting fees and things like that. So that's a pretty basic one. That is kind of a standard thing that's been done by the county for 40 years. You know, if you buy gas, we're gonna waive the fees. We try to take care of people. I think codifying this is really a very good idea within the village. Since this has been ad hoc for so long. If you go down to the second page, right, if you look at the narrative, it starts out with aircraft leases based on Angel Fire, at Angel Fire, free parking up to 2 vehicles during lease agreement timeframe. And that basically says you got an airplane, you're paying X amount per year, you get to park a vehicle here. We give you the passes, they put the hang tags in their cars, they're good to go. Short-term daily, the first 5 days are free, and then after that, it's $6 a day after 14 days. And then we begin to negotiate a month, kind of rolling back to what it was before. Advanced air patrons park for free during their travel period, but they need to check in just so we can put a hang tag in their car and say, hey, you know, that there's a reason why this car is sitting here in case we have a need. I think that was one of the big ones that was addressed in the last meeting. Monthly fee, $100 a month, and yearly 1,000. That's pretty good. That's pretty good rate considering what storage places like to charge. Now, I did not change, but I realize one thing that's in here. One of the things that we don't do, we will not be allowing trailers and RVs and boats and such for parking there. So we are gonna become a storage lot with these fees. And I apologize, manager, there, if that should be in there, if that's
No, that's a
something.
policy.
That's a policy, okay, good. All right, fuel policy, pricing, cost plus consider regional market prices, so we'll make a percentage that's gonna waive just like any gas station because fuel changes its price from day to day, unfortunately. And then the big one that we had a discussion, Mayor Pro Tem, was military aircraft are exempt from all fees for short-term use. The biggest airport I could find was Chicago O'Hare to talk to and St. Louis International Airport, and this was their policy. They say now, if the guys are coming in training and they're doing, sometimes we do a little bit, generally said if it's a military, I thought, okay, if Chicago O'Hare can do this, then if they get in the fire can follow suit, so there you go. That's it. Any questions?
There's no further discussion or questions. I would ask Mayor Pro Tem how to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-12 airport fee schedule.
I'll second.
Roll call votes on item A for old business. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert. Motion passed.
Moving on, old business item B, I'd like to open discussion to approve architect design of the new fire station. Chief Vance.
Good evening, can you, point me out to where we are? I apologize.
Old business item B.
This is the one we're gonna use.
Oh, yes, we're still in design phase for this, so we're requesting that we also postpone this once again until September, after September 5th. We don't have the documents to present to you today.
Ask Mayor Pro Tem how to make a motion.
I make the motion to postpone old business item B, approve architect design document for new fire station.
Second.
Roll call vote on item B in old business. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion to postpone passed.
Thank you. On to new business. Item A. Public hearing will now open. The village may if I represent the following to the public. 1. Amendment to Title 1, Chapter 9 to include the establishment of electronic service fees. Amendment to Title 1, Chapter 9 is now open for public comment. Amendment to Title 1, Chapter 9 is now closed for public comment. Moving on to item 2. Addition to Title 2 to establish a donation leave policy. The addition to Title 2 is now open for public comment. The addition to Title 2 is now closed to public comment. Item 3, addition to Title 2 to establish a recording of meetings and conversations policy. Addition to Title 2 is now open for public comment. The addition to Title 2 is now closed for public comment. 4, amendments to Title 12, Chapter 11, Chapter 1, Section 4 to include variance fees that the village council resolution shall set. Amendment to Title 12, Chapter 1, Article C, Section 4 is now open for public comment. Amendment to Title 12, Chapter 1, Article C, Section 4 is now closed to public comment. Item 5, amendment to Title 12, Chapter 1, Section 5 to authorize 1, consideration of variance request to the maximum occupancy for short-term rental unit by way of village council. 2, the village manager shall identify a designee to evaluate a variance request and prepare a recommendation for village council consideration. Amendment to Title 12, Chapter 1, Section 5 is now open for public discussion. Amendment to Title 12, Chapter 1, Section 5 is now closed for public discussion. Moving on to item B, new business. I'd like to open discussion to approve ordinance 2025-09, an ordinance amending Title 1, Chapter 9 of the Village Code. Andrew Weir.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, this is an amendment to Title 1 that allows us to have a surcharge that's going to be designed to recoup additional expenses whenever a payment is made by electronic means. So basically, a lot of people refer to this as a credit card surcharge. So if we do charge a fee for credit card usage to pay a bill, this puts it in the ordinance, so we can do that right now. We can't do that without this in the ordinance. Any of those fees would have to come before council and form a resolution if we decide to, or when we decide to, charge them. But first, we have to get it in ordinance to allow us to charge such a fee.
Any questions or further discussion? I could have Mayor Pro Tem, I'll make a motion.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-09 and ordinance amending Title 1, Chapter 9 of the Village Code.
Second.
Roll call vote on item B. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
I'd like to open item C for discussion to approve resolution 2025-50, establishing electronic payment service fee. Landry Weir.
Mayor, council, this is the resolution I just talked about. So what we've done is our finance department has considered different methodologies for charging a surcharge fee, such as a percentage and so on. There are some statutes that require us to be consistent among the way we charge. So in order to comply with those statutes, our recommendation is a flat surcharge of $2 whenever a credit card is used. It's not going to recoup 100% of the expense, because if somebody pays for a big bill, the finance charges are gonna be greater than $2. If they do something really small with their credit card, it could be, the finance charges would be less. So we're not gonna 100% recover the expenses we incur when somebody uses a credit card. But right now, as a starter, we feel that this is something that will help with offset some of the costs that we're gonna be incurring or are incurring currently with the use of credit cards. So that is the recommendation from the finance department, to choose a flat rate of $2 per transaction. And it skirts us around any potential conflict with a state statute that requires us to charge every type of transaction the same.
Further questions or discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Howe.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-50, establishing electronic payment service fee.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item C. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay. Open item D for discussion to approve ordinance 2025-10, donation leave policy. Is our HR director online with us this evening?
She couldn't make it.
She couldn't make it.
Mr. Mayor, I can speak to this.
Manager Weir.
So there was a request, Mr. Mayor, Council, there was a request for staff that have accumulated PTO to be able to donate it to other staff in situations where the staff may not have, the person receiving the donation may not have enough PTO to cover an extended period of absence. As you know, you did previously approve this as an administrative policy. This is simply incorporating it into the personnel ordinance.
No further discussion or questions, Mayor Pro Tem Howe.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-10, donation leave policy.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item D. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks, and Counselor Humbert. Motion passed.
Okay, item E, I'll open for discussion to approve ordinance 2025-11, recording of meetings and conversations policy. Manager Weir.
Mr. Mayor, as you may know, and council, as you may know, the state of New Mexico in, state statute allows for, what they call one-sided consent to record a conversation. That means if I'm having a conversation with you, I can record it. I don't have to tell you that I'm recording it. After consultation with our legal counsel, and the way that is if I record it, I can use that in a legal battle, a criminal legal battle, one-sided conversation. So the statute doesn't preclude us from establishing a policy that requires consent from all people that are involved in the conversation before a conversation is recorded. As long as we're not doing anything criminal, we can establish this policy that basically says, if you're gonna record a conversation, everybody has to consent to it. And so that's what this policy is gonna put in place, is if you wanna record a conversation while the village is conducting business, you have to get consent from all parties to record that conversation.
No further discussion or questions. Mayor Pro Tem Howe.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-11, recording of meetings and conversations policies.
Second.
Roll call vote on item E. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
I'll open item F for discussion to approve ordinance 2025 XX, amendment to Title 12, Chapter 11, Chapter 1, Section 4. I believe Mr. Martinez is with us this evening. Manager, are you prepared to speak on?
Yes, again, I apologize for Mr. Martinez who's not being here. But Mr. Mayor, Council, what this does is Title 12, which is a relatively new title for us that we just put in place. But one of the pieces of that title that we did not specify, we allowed in the title, but we did not specify was variances. So in Title 12, it says that we can provide variances to the requirements for the occupancy requirements based on the number of bathrooms in a facility. It says that we can do a variance, but it doesn't define under what scope that variance can be applied for and what the council would consider in order to approve that variance. And this is simply an addition to Title 12 that is more specific in allowing those variances to be addressed by the council.
Questions or discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Howe, you make a motion?
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-XX, amendment to Title 12, Chapter 11, Chapter 1, Section 4.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item F. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
I'll open item G for discussion to approve ordinance 2025 XX, amendment to Title 12, Chapter 1, Section 5.
Mr. Mayor, Council, again, basically this allows us to establish a fee for applying for that variance that we just previously approved. The
fee for the variance.
yeah, we'll have to set the fee in resolution. This updates the ordinance that allows us to set a fee for an application for variances.
Questions? Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-XX, amendment to Title 12, Chapter 1, Section 5.
second.
Roll call vote on item G. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
I'll open item H for discussion to approve resolution 2025-55. Submittal for an application for the 2026 cycle Mexico Water and Trust Board. You want?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council Manager Weir and Clerk Strickland. One of the requirements for submitting a water trust board application is a resolution of support from the village council. That's your resolution before you. The application opened yesterday and closes September 11th. So once this hopefully gets approved, I will submit it with our application packet. And I'll stand for any questions you may have.
No questions, Mayor Pro Tem Howard, you make the motion? Thank you, Julie.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-55, submittal of an application for the 2026 cycle New Mexico Water and Trust Board.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item H. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert. Motion passed.
Okay. Open item I for discussion to approval of donation from Bruce Jasmine. Chief Fogler.
Mr. Mayor, council, manager and clerk, once again, this is a staff recommendation before you for acceptance of a donation from Bruce Jasmine. The letter of donation is attached. This is for a small, approximate 8 wide, 6 foot long, 7 foot tall metal building, homemade structure. It has one walk-in door. It is currently placed and shall remain at the Aspen water tank. It houses our repeaters and infrastructure for the new digital system. It does have electric that's been run to it in fiber optic. This was part of the partnership between Moreno Valley, even Eagle Nest, and of course the village of Angel Fire. Bruce built this building from used or scrap material and has expressed that he wants to donate it to the village of Angel Fire, with the only caveat being that it be used for all public safety entities within the greater Moreno Valley area, meaning Moreno Valley Fire can use that shack to house their equipment, we can, and likewise, in the event that Angel Fire, upon assuming ownership of it, down the road, no longer has a use for the building to house public safety radios, repeater, or other related equipment, Bruce Jasmine, DBA Bruce's Gravel, shall have first right of a refusal for the return of the building at no cost. So in other words, when we're done with it, if we're ever done with it, which we probably won't be, we would offer it back to Bruce at no cost, just as he's donated it to us. It's no cost.
No further question or discussion, Mayor Pro Tem Howard.
Make a motion for approval of donation from Bruce Jasmine.
Was that Counselor Humbert?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call vote on item I. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
All right.
Motion passed.
Okay, I'll open,
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I meant to say this, upon acceptance of this, I think it would be a nice gesture for the village to offer a thank you letter to Mr. Jasmine. I'll get with manager Weir and Chief Vance, we can co-op or something if that's.
seems appropriate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item J, I'll open the discussion, the adoption of 2025 U2C changes pursuant to NMML recommendation with the New Mexico Municipal League.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, before you again with Uniform Traffic Code or ordinances. It seems like this is kind of a never ending, but there are some very significant multiple changes to this year after the legislative session. You'll see in the cover letter provided by Rebecca Martinez, the Policy and Educational Manager. There have been amendments to Article 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12, as well as the penalty assessment draft ordinance, which we have completed and have ready for you. I started going through to compile what all the changes were so I could be informative. After about 70, I decided that, 300-page document, I wasn't gonna be able to list them all in a timely manner. What I can tell you is the majority of the changes are simply in the numbering of the traffic ordinances, such as 1.6 is now 1.5B and things like that for the majority. And that would be like operators to be licensed. They've added language to that. There is some language giving direction that any school bus involved in any collision now must be investigated by a qualified reconstructionist instead of simply a law enforcement officer. That's one of the more significant changes. One that I was hoping to see in there is not, and it's related to the ROHV ordinances allowing municipalities greater authority. That is not, but several things in the traffic, Article 6, operations, and then vehicle regulations in Article 10 were renumbered. So what we did is with the drafted penalty assessment ordinance, we filled in our information for the village of Angel Fire to adopt the new penalty assessment ordinance. We did not change our penalty assessments from what was adopted by this governing body last time. There was added to that one that wasn't in there before, that is in the municipal leagues now, and it's the first one, bicycle laws under 12.8-1 through 12.8-25. I left those at their recommended $25 penalty assessment amounts. And the only other significance is, if you remember in past, we took out the section 4D, which was the reporting requirements for municipal court to notify motor vehicle division of the state when a person fails to pay a penalty assessment in a required period of time. That is now put back in, so. That is a very short synopsis of the major changes in this document, and I would stand for questions if I can answer.
Chief, do we have an officer that can do the school bus reconstruction accident?
No, we do not have a reconstructionist on the force. That would most likely mean any collision involving a school bus. We would hold the scene and the integrity until state police could arrive.
Okay.
The nearest, to my knowledge, is still out of Santa Fe.
Okay.
No further discussion.
And Mr. Mayor, I do recommend approval. This is. Sorry.
Mayor Pro Tem Howe.
I make a motion for adoption of the 2025 Uniform Traffic Code changes pursuant to New Mexico Municipal League recommendation.
Roll call vote on item J. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humber. Motion passed.
Okay, move on to item K, open for discussion. Approval of consultant pharmacist contract 2025, Chief Vance.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Howe, members of council, Manager Weir, and Clerk Strickland, hello again. This is an operational cost for the fire department in order for us to operate an outpatient pharmacy. This is something that we renew every 4 years as the stipulation. I think it's letter K in the contract, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I'm sorry, it's at number 4. It recommends that we renew this contract every 4 years, so that's why I'm standing in front of you. Our consultant pharmacist is required to operate a PRC licensed ambulance service, which we do, which means we have a fully staffed ACLS, Advanced Cardiac Life Support ambulance service that's staffed 24/7, 365, and we're able to transport patients to the hospital and bill for that service. In order to do that, the Board of Pharmacy requires that your consultant pharmacist comes in every quarterly inspections and inspects our process and procedures They serve as a consultant to Angel Fire Department for any changes to our pharmaceutical formulary, et cetera. Many people don't know, we pretty much bring a emergency room to any emergency scene, and we have a full complement of ACLS drugs, epinephrine, and all those types of things, and we have to have a pharmacist over us with a professional license to be able to conduct that service. So it's my recommendation that we approve the continued service of our consultant pharmacist and approve the contract. You have any questions?
Questions or discussion? I'll ask Mayor Pro Tem Howe to make the motion.
I make the motion for approval of consultant pharmacist contract 2025.
A second.
Roll call vote on item K. Mayor Pro Tem Howe.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Chief. Item L, I'll open the discussion to approve resolution 2025-59 solid waste transfer rates.
Evening, Mayor, Council, Strickland Manager Weir. Once again, we're going to attack resolution 2025-59. An explanation of this is we discovered that there were 3 items that were being charged for at the solid waste facility that were not on the list and resolution with pricing. One of those 3 items was pine needles. And you see that it's not included here, but it was included in resolution and pricing by the slash department earlier in the year. As once they get their point of sale, they're gonna start accepting pine needles, so that's why it's not included in here. Until that time, solid waste will honor that price that's in resolution. The 2 items that you see down to the bottom are non-hazardous solid waste at $10.60 a cubic yard, and rocks and dirt at $58.29 per cubic yard. These are items that have been accepted and charged for in years past, but the pricing was never put into resolution. So that's the adjustment we're making to it.
Are we gonna change, like, eventually, I guess when we do the scales, we might change that rocks and dirt tonnage? Weight? Okay.
Yes, council, once we get the scale set up, all of our cubic yardage fees will be switched to tonnage.
Item M on the agenda plays into that as well. Stand for any questions?
If no further questions or discussion, I just ask Mayor Pro Tem Howe to make a motion on item L.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-59 solid waste transfer rates.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item L. Mayor Pro Tem Howe.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, item M for discussion, approval to move forward with the repeal of the verbiage cubic yard volume of the in section 4-3-5-B-5-B of the village code. Very good.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, for multiple reasons, we want to make this change. First and foremost, in the resolution we just discussed, 2025-59, you'll notice that there are items that are priced per each. And this also plays into when we get our scales going and convert to tonnage, which we'll do in resolution when that pricing is established. But given that in ordinance, it did say the fee for this service shall be based upon the cubic yard volume of the material disposed. Eliminating this, it will then say the fee for this service shall be based upon the material disposed. And pricing and which and unit prices and how each units are priced will be established in resolution.
Would Mayor Pro Tem Howe make a motion on item N?
I make a motion for approval to move forward with the repeal of the verbiage cubic yard volume of the in section 4-3-5-B-5-B of the village code.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item M. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert. Motion passed.
Commissioner Epler. I'll now open item N for discussion to approve Mexico Capital Outlay Grant Agreement 25-J2911. Manager Weir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, these are the contracts for the appropriations, the next three. This first one, we got a $70,000 appropriation to be used for, what do they call them? Defibrillators. This is the contract. These have been submitted to legal counsel for review and approved and are now required to be approved by the council so that we can receive the monies.
Mr. Manager, I'm sure the defibrillators for the most part go to the fire EMS. Do we also have them in various village buildings?
Not current, chief. I think we have them in.
He's one at the community center.
There is one at the community center.
Mayor Pro Tem Howell, we've also donated a couple to police department to keeping their vehicles. I don't know if those have been delivered quite yet, have they? We're still waiting to get some pads from our medical supply order. And we also donated one to the airport as well. And I think they have implemented that, and then one at the community center, and then very
Mayor Pro Tem Howell.
Make a motion to approve the New Mexico Capital Outlay Grant Agreement 25-J2911.
Second.
Roll call vote on item N. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks, and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Moving on to item O, open discussion to approve the Mexico Capital Outlay Grant Agreement 25-J2912. Manager Weir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is one, we're always happy to receive, funds wherever we can obtain them. But this is one I'm especially proud of based on the work done by, you, Mr. Mayor, Chief Vance, Rocky Lira, and Julie Culhan when they went down and met with the governor and persuaded her to give us $5.22 million for construction of a new fire station.
Further question and discussion on item O. Ask Mayor Pro Tem how to make a motion.
I make a motion to approve the New Mexico Capital Outlay Grant Agreement 25-J2912.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item O. Mayor Pro Tem Howe,
Aye.
Counselor Weeks,
Aye.
and Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Manager Weir.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council, before we proceed, I guess I was remiss in not mentioning both of our representatives who also contribute a portion of that $5.2 million. So both our senator and our representative also contributed to that money.
Manager Weir. Yeah, moving on to item P, I'd like to have a discussion to approve New Mexico Capital Outlay Grant Agreement 25-J2913. Manager Weir.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is the appropriations that we will be receiving. It is $1.226,902, $1,226,902. This money will be utilized to develop structures at the Veterans, the National Veterans Wellness Center. As you know, we're in the process of them donating the land to the village, so that this appropriations can be managed by the village in order to have that property developed. We are probably, will have that all completed at the next council meeting. Then we'll be able to receive this money and work with, Veterans Wellness to start the process of constructing the, facilities that they'd like to see on their property.
Further questions or discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Hal?
Make a motion to approve New Mexico Capital Outlay Grant Agreement 25-J 2913.
Second.
Roll call vote on item P. Mayor Pro Tem Hal.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
I'm gonna open item Q for discussion, the approval of purchasing a CX 140E excavator. Director Epler.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Clerk Strickland, Manager Weir. We would like to move forward with purchasing this excavator, piece of equipment that, as we're doing some of these projects in-house, has already proven to be useful. We did start out leasing this machine in the spring to start on Allen Fields. 100% of the lease is applied to the purchase price. And it's currently at Workforce Housing. Be starting there. We'll be involved in the over excavation and utility installation for the fire station. Will be into play when we build a new event center back here in the back. But it'll also be utilized in streets department with some of our larger culvert replacement projects. And the machine will have multiple uses. Stand for any questions.
No further questions or discussion at item Q. Mayor Pro Tem Hal.
Make a motion for approval of purchasing a CX 140E excavator.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item Q. Mayor Pro Tem Hal.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Moving on to item R. I'd like to open discussion for the approval of concrete barrier wall on South Angel Fire Road over the creek crossing. Director Epler.
Yes, this is an estimate from GM Emulsions using statewide price agreement. The plan is to, as you can see in the attached detail, build a DOT approved barrier over that the creek crossing just south of the library. Now, this work is going to involve not just placing the barriers, but the current pavement that's across right there is temporary. It's going to be cut out. So the over the culverts is going to be concrete with concrete barriers on the side. And they have told me that we can discuss colors other than raw concrete and different methods on how to color that, either coloring the concrete, staining it, or putting it with stucco.
Does that look like it'll be wide enough for a pedestrian crossing to cross that bridge or?
It's the culverts are too short to really get a 2-lane road and a pedestrian crossing. I would suggest if it's something with that being such a nice road and more people have to be walking it, perhaps we could entertain a pedestrian bridge separate in that area. I think to get it wide enough to accommodate a pedestrian path would mean redoing culverts.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Hal, if you would, on item R.
Make a motion for approval of a concrete barrier wall on South Angel Fire Road over the creek crossing.
I'll second.
Roll call vote on item R. Mayor Pro Tem Hal.
Aye.
Counselor Weeks.
Aye.
And Counselor Humbert.
All right.
Motion passed.
All right, finally, this evening, we have our manager's report. Mr. Weir.
Mr. Mayor, we do have a lot going on at the village. Unfortunately, we've experienced a little bit of turnover lately in the finance department and in the Parks and Rec department. But I think we had a meeting today, and I think we have a plan moving forward to rectify that situation. But just to let the council know, over the next 2 weeks, we may have to be closing the community center during some of its normal operating hours. I have a meeting tomorrow with Shay to try and finalize what that schedule is gonna look like. And as soon as I get that, I will report it to the council. But just be aware, because we had 2 people at the community center resign within weeks of each other. And we haven't had much time to replace them. We're down now to 1 full-time and 1 part-time staff at the community center. So we just may not be able to cover the normal schedule that we have. We will try and remain open at least partially every day. But there will be some days we open later, and there might be a few days we have to close earlier. So just be aware of that. But we do have a plan in place, working with Director Rendon. And I think that we hopefully will have this solved within 2 to 3 weeks. That's the only other event. That's the only thing going on that I think is important for the council to know. Oh, one thing, if you're running for the elections, you have to go on the 26th, I believe, Ileana.
Correct.
The 26th of August to Raton to register. We have 2 positions open for council, and we do interested parties. We do recommend that you register and run, and hopefully we will see you at this table in the future.
All right, with that, this meeting is adjourned.